Hey there, it's Monday morning and I came out to the shop to tidy up a bit. I really need to clean the shop up thoroughly, but I just needed to get things moved so that I could try to get a couple of good pictures of my speakers that I just finished building, not building, rebuilding, upgrading. I did three big things with these. I replaced the tweeter with another one, better one. I redesigned and rebuilt the crossover, and I also refinished the cases so that they are not the same color. They're a better color, in my opinion. This is like these boxes are made from cherry, and the finish that's on here now is just water-based polyurethane. And that's not going to appeal to some people. Some people like the look that oil gives it, but to be honest, I'm over that. Like, I like this better. I think it looks more natural too. So, what else was I working on? Like, this took me a long time. I got to be honest, because okay, I started doing this, and then I got the knife to do, and then I had to spend like 3 days working on that, and then I got back into this, but not completely because it had a lot to do with it left. When you break up a project halfway, it kind of puts the brakes on your motivation. Anyway, so I eventually did finish it on Saturday. I spent the entire day out here building the crossovers, getting those put in, getting them tested again. And one of them, the second one actually, I made a mistake on the board. It wasn't fully soldered. And that delayed me for about almost an hour and a half because I had everything put in, buttoned up, put over here to test, had to take it all out, had to take the crossover board out and inspect that, look that over until I finally found where the problem was and fixed that, then put it all back in and then test it again. But now they're done and they can go in my office, which is a good thing. So, in between that, I was doing some other stuff, and I just wanted to try out an idea that I had for another quick release vise. And here's the gist of it here. Now, I made a video showing this on Locals, and I posted that immediately after I finished it. I showed like the concept behind it, the drawing. Recently, I posted another video on Patreon showing it. So this will be video number 3 covering this thing. Unfortunately, it doesn't, it works, but the way I have it oriented sideways like this with this is a cam, okay? And it puts pressure on this moving jaw right here. And this thing back here locks inside the receiver that's under the bench, okay? As this rotates, it pulls this one back and it locks against this built-in wedge, okay? And there's sandpaper on here to stop it from moving. It works very similar to my clamps with the wedges, all right? But I just had this finished when I discovered that it should be, it's more natural to use it if it was vertical, right? But then that presents some other problems. So I'm gonna put this one on the shelf, very much like the other ones that I, started working on and didn't finish. But the way it works pretty good. I mean, you take it, it's a quick release. So you take it, you stick it in, and then you put your piece of wood in, right? Push it up against it. There's another part back here that you push on, and then you crank the pressure on until it locks, and then it holds it, supposedly. It's not doing it right now because everything moved. Everything has to be glued together. I just use screws. So that's that. One other thing I want to talk about before I go is, I haven't been posting that many videos on my main channel lately, but the comments still come in. And it seems like over the last year, I would have to guess it's close to 30% of the comments that come in are related in some way to safety. And it's the usual things, coming too close to the blade, there's no riving knife, there's no guard. And, I think that over the last year, this heightened awareness of the safety, especially around the table saw, is in part due to other woodworkers on YouTube kind of, emphasizing it. So I don't know if they're doing themselves any favors, because, the way the world works is that anything that's, perceived as being dangerous, there's going to be someone looking to take it away. And once they're finished taking away all the big stuff, then they'll start coming for the smaller stuff, like the table saws, the workshop in your house type thing. I can see the point in the future, and people think I'm exaggerating here, but I'm not. If you look through history, especially recent history, and see how incrementally things have been taken away, you'll see this coming down the, at some point in the future, where you're going to have a permit to have a workshop in your house. You're going to have to maybe go through some training course before you can buy a tool like a table saw. Either that, or it'll be so safetied up that it will not function properly. It will be next to useless to have. A good example of that, in the last video on this channel that I made this comment. And besides, I got like several guns. And of course I got comments on that, as expected. I knew people would. Tell you about guns in Canada. I also got a comment saying, what, you're allowed to have guns? I thought you weren't allowed to have guns in Canada. When I was born in 1966, anyone 16 years of age and older could go and buy a handgun, could go and buy an automatic weapon, actually. There weren't any restrictions on any of those things here. There's a whole Wikipedia page that steps through all of the, say, landmarks on the way to where we are here as far as guns go, where it starts off with, like, basically you're allowed to own whatever you want, up until today, where everything is highly restricted. It's almost impossible, like it is de facto impossible to obtain a handgun here unless you are in some government agency, or a police force or something like that. You're a private citizen, you're not getting a handgun. All right? And it's getting more and more difficult to own like rifles and shotguns. And that's the way it works. I mean, if you think that they're going to stop with the big stuff, the guns and so-called big dangerous things, and leave you alone to work in your shop, think again, because this is the way people, like some people, this is what they do. They're not actually productive. They don't accomplish anything. All they do is live for taking away something from someone else.